July's rainfall breaking soccer hearts and records.
In terms of number of games that have had to be rescheduled.
From empty fields to flooded streets. Plus, court documents show a Calgary woman lived in fear of an ex in the months leading up to her death. And ballet in the Badlands.
I've never performed in a theater quite so open.
The one-night-only amphitheater experience.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla Di Giuseppe.
Good afternoon. From major traffic troubles to stunted sports seasons, many Calgarians are a bit tired of all the rain we've been getting. Alicia Philbert now joins us from near the Bow River. And Alicia, it should be busy there this time of year.
Camilla, floating the bow is one of the top things to do in Calgary during the summer, but instead of rafters, it is just chilly rapids in the river tonight, and that's because it has been a wet and very cold day. That overnight rain caused some problems on the roads as well, flooding a southwest section of Stony Trail during the morning rush. The city of Calgary says the storm also broke pavement along Glenmore near Crowchild, and crews had to block off the area for hours after several vehicles, more than a dozen, got damaged in the rain-filled rut. The rain is putting a damper on outdoor sports as well. Calgary Miners Soccer Association has had to reschedule roughly 400 games. That's about 10% of the season due to rain. Now that beats last year's record of 220 games that had to be rescheduled. Those were mostly due to smoke, however. With the minor seasons closing soon, some of those makeup games won't be able to happen.
We're trying our best to reschedule all of them, but with the end of the season kind of looming in the next couple of days, there's going to be games that just don't have the window of time to be rescheduled and to be replayed. So they kind of go as unplayable games, and, you know, it affects the sporting experience for the players, for the referees, for the coaches, for the parents as well.
Now, even though warmer weather is coming, those flood-related issues from the rain are still happening. Calgary Water Services says that it is responding to more than 170 drainage issues. Camilla.
All right, Alicia, thank you so much. Let's bring in our Danielle Savoni with our first look at the weather. Obviously, we are all waiting for that warm-up. Maybe it's even good to kind of take away some of that sogginess in the ground that we're seeing.
That was a lot of rain in a short amount of time, and we'll talk more about the totals in just a little bit. But first, I'm going to focus on the bright stuff because the sunshine will be back tomorrow. It's a drier day tomorrow, and it's a much warmer day. This is well below normal. So we were at 10 degrees at midnight, and then throughout much of the day, we were sitting in those single digits. We've now just got back up to 10. We have isolated showers in the city at the moment. All right, your 24-hour forecast is brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details, or visit fifthavvw.com. And as you can see, quite a difference in temperature by tomorrow, more than 10 degrees warmer than what we got today, with a good chunk of sunshine, especially in the morning hours. I'll have more details coming up, Cam.
All right, Danielle, thank you. 3 days after Madison Cobb was fatally shot in a Haysboro parkade, we are learning the 23-year-old spent the last several months in and out of court while living in fear of an ex-boyfriend. Tyler Barrow joins us live now. And Tyler, what more can you tell us?
Cam, on May 30th, Madison Cobb applied for a restraining order against a man she broke up with in January who she says wouldn't leave her alone. Now, on June 10th, that order was granted, and police charged that man with 2 separate criminal counts of harassment dating back to June 30th and June 1st and May 30th. Now, he's set to appear in court tomorrow and again on Friday in Okotoks to speak to the charges. The restraining order was issued June 10th, banning him from going within 100 meters of her home or workplace. On Saturday, Cobb was shot while leaving work, Lasik empty, on the 4th floor of a parkade. Court documents obtained by CTV News show Cobb's handwritten application saying, quote, "This past month, I have been living in fear. I shake and have panic attacks when I'm out or hear my phone go off. Out of fear, he is there. He will show up unannounced at restaurants that I'm at and sit across from me. I am in fear every day from him. I want him out of my life." For Rasha El-Dib, whose 22-year-old sister was murdered by her ex-boyfriend, the crime is chilling.
I think what really hit close to home is like seeing her age. Sorry. she's really close to Nadia's age when she passed away. So I don't know why I feel like this story hits way closer to home than the other ones.
Police have only said they have a person in custody in Cobb's killing. No charges have been laid. Cam?
All right, Tyler, thank you so much. The number and severity of police-reported crime in Canada decreased by 4% in 2024, following 3 consecutive years of increases. That's according to the latest numbers from Statistics Canada. A decrease in break and enters, child pornography, and motor vehicle thefts were among the top reasons for the change. Alberta dropped 9 points on the Crime Severity Index panel, which is scaled to population and multiplied by how bad the crime was. Calgary CSI decreased by 14% year over year. However, the number of reported hate crimes has increased for 6 years in a row, more than doubling in 2018.
Yeah, we're seeing a significant increase in hate crime reporting, and it's for a number of different factors. Geopolitical challenges across the globe, issues societally. But one of the things that I wish to celebrate and highlight is the fact that reporting is going up so much because it's becoming societally intolerable.
It's estimated only 1 in 5 hate crimes are reported to police. 2 family pets died in a house fire in Englewood this afternoon. Smoke was billowing from the home when firefighters arrived at 2:30 p.m. 4 people had escaped the home, but 2 cats and a snake were missing. Only 1 cat was later found alive. Investigators say the fire started in the basement and damage to the home is significant. The cause is not known, nor if there were working smoke alarms in the home. Almost 1 in 5 trees in Calgary is a poplar tree, and many of them were planted between 50 and 70 years ago. They are big and beautiful, but can be destructive with their water-seeding roots, cracking and heaving sidewalks. Right now, if one of them is running your sidewalk or ruining your sidewalk and you want it removed, you have to pay for it and for its replacement, even though it's a city tree. One councillor thinks that's not fair. Andre Chabot will be asking council to have the city start paying for the removal and replacement of what could be thousands of poplar trees citywide.
We're trying to improve mobility in all of our areas, and the sidewalks in many areas are impassable, and they're hard to keep clean in the winter. So I just don't see why the residents should have to pay for something that created a problem through city policy.
The city considers poplars to be the backbone of its urban forest, making up roughly 18% of the city's tree population. The Toronto Raptors are kicking off their preseason in Calgary. The NBA team will be holding their training camp from September 30th to October 3rd at the University of Calgary. The sessions will be closed to the public except for the final day, when they'll have an open practice. The last time the Raptors were in Calgary was a preseason game against Denver in 2016. Rocker Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76. He made many stops in Calgary and was even white-hatted. Calgary metal fans welcomed Ozzy and his wife Sharon at the airport in 2008. The pair was in good sports about receiving the Calgary White Hat welcome and embraced the Western spirit. Osbourne played at McMahon Stadium for his Monsters of Rock tour the next day. He also played several shows at the Saddle Dome, including in 2003 when he was given his own Flames jersey.
I don't think there's any way to properly define him. He was not only a musical icon, but a cultural icon. He had the Osbournes TV show. He had books. He couldn't go anywhere without being recognized as Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne, right?
Ozzy performed at Black Sabbath's farewell gig just 3 weeks ago. His family confirmed the death this morning and has asked for privacy. Well, still to come, Alberta's health experts are doubling down on getting the province's measles situation under control, what they say Alberta's top doctor needs to do, and looking to the future while the town of Jasper honors a somber milestone. Also, if you have a news tip, text us at 10400. Jasper residents and first responders gathered today to mark the first anniversary of the devastating wildfire.
Some days you feel strong and good, and other days like today, you know, it's emotional.
Not have had.
During today's ceremony, officials praised the determination and efforts of firefighters who battled the wildfire. 1/3 of the town site was destroyed by the flames. There's still a long road ahead to rebuild homes and businesses, but Jasper residents are hopeful the small mountain town has a bright future ahead. Calgarians had a chance to learn more about hail and the storms that produce them from a Canadian team passionate about the weather phenomenon. The Northern Hail Project hosted the free event today at TELUS Spark. Participants had an opportunity to learn about severe weather, atmospheric science, and conducting field research. The group is also looking to recruit more hail reporters to help with data gathering. Hail recovery equipment and 3D printed models of recovered hailstones were also on display. Let's bring in Danielle once again. Hopefully we don't have to worry about any hail in the next few days, or
not in the next day and a half, we'll see. I mean, we are in peak storm season, so it's and their project is incredible, and it helps all the studies, even helps us better understand the radar and have better intelligence to give you a better heads up on hail. So great project going on there. Skywatch weather cam. Oh my goodness, it's been a rainy one. Lots of localized flooding, lots of rainfall. Are we done yet? We are done with the big bulk of this system. Yes, isolated showers still possible though. Okay, so let's just do a quick sum up of the system. Normal amount of rainfall in July, 65.7 millimeters. As of yesterday, we were at 107.4 millimeters. So, you know, almost double where we should be by the time we've gotten this rainfall. So this, with just this system last night and today, 26 to 32 millimeters is what we saw in Calgary, which is why it did lead to lots of pooling and some localized flooding. Also cold temperatures with this one, just 10 right now at the airport downtown. This is also our daytime high in the city. It's 9 in Winsport and Bragg Creek and just 8 in Cochrane. Off to the east, slightly warmer, I guess you could say. Irricana's at 11. Get your daily dose of greens at Serenity Golf Club, just 20 minutes east of Calgary. Okay, here's a bigger picture of the temperatures. Look at those 20s up to the north. So Jasper, Grand Prairie, Peace River, Fort McMurray, 20s. And for us, just struggled today to get into those double digits as we talked about. It will be much warmer tomorrow. All of the south pretty much will be at least 10 degrees above the temperature we had today, so many of us will get back into those 20s for tomorrow. But before we get there, it's a cold night, single digits, low single digits in many communities. Calgary looking at even dropping as far as 6 for tonight. But for Cochrane, Airdrie, up to the Rocky Mountain House area, this is a frost warning in place because we are looking at dropping down to the freezing mark here, plus we have the moisture. And off to the southeast, we talked about air quality not really clearing out of the southeast, taking an extra day to do so. So we've been on the higher level here at about a 7, and we'll continue to be and drop down to moderate for tomorrow in this area. We've improved in Calgary, and you can see the big bulk of rain is finally clearing out. So really between Duchess and Hannah at this point, and starting to make its way out. Still, isolated showers are going to be possible for the next 12 hours or so, clearing out. So up until about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in many communities, we have that potential. For Calgary specifically, it looks like it will clear out around that midnight hour. We'll get some fog patches, so it may lead to some tricky driving conditions in some spots because we'll have reduced visibility. We're looking at sunshine for a good chunk of tomorrow, and then later in the day, the clouds will increase, and we have a small chance of isolated showers, where we have a good chance of any sort of thunderstorm activity as we sleep Olds and up to the Red Deer area, closer to those supper hours. Okay, longer range forecast. Oh, look at that. 23 degrees for tomorrow. Quite a difference from the 10 today. Sunshine, especially later in the morning when those fog patches clear out, and early afternoon, and then high 20s by the time we get into Thursday.
Alberta doctors and infectious disease experts are sounding the alarm about measles. On Sunday, July 13th, an infectious person was at the Alberta Children's Hospital between 10 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Anyone in the ER during that time who is not fully vaccinated may be at risk. Today, there were 18 new measles cases confirmed, and about 1 in 10 Albertans infected with measles are now being hospitalized. Doctors want the province to declare an epidemic. To curb vaccine disinformation, get regular updates from the chief medical officer, and urge parents to vaccinate kids between 6 to 11 months.
We are approaching a school start in which there will be many siblings and playmates bringing measles home to their younger sisters and brothers. So really encourage you to contact your local public health office about this and advocate for getting an early dose.
AHS is asking anyone who may have been exposed to self-monitor for symptoms like high fever, runny nose, red eyes, or a rash. If they develop, stay home and call Alberta's measles hotline before going to a health facility. Standing together in the tear-off standoff, from removing barriers from interprovincial trade to growing calls to get pipelines built. Tech stocks seeming to be a bit of a problem for North American markets today. Joining me is Dave Popowich, portfolio manager with the Popowich Carmeli Advisory Group. So Dave, what do I mean by that exactly?
Yeah, well, good afternoon, Camilla. You're right that the tech stocks, in particular the chip stocks, created some problems for North American markets. So if you look at the TSX and you look at the Dow, they had not a bad day, but the S&P and certainly the NASDAQ pressured by some of those big tech names. NVIDIA stock down about 2.5% today, with some of the other chip stocks down even more. Part of the problem here is that the big project by OpenAI, the ChatGPT makers, and SoftBank, it's a $500 billion AI project, has run into some hurdles getting off the ground, and I think that put a little water on the fire of how hot these chip names have been recently. You can also look at Google. Now, Google stock up a little bit, let's call it 0.5% of gain today, building on yesterday's gain. We're going to get their announcement, their financial results out tomorrow, and I think that will have an influence on trading. But you can also look at, as an influence today, the Trump administration saying that they are likely, that's their word, not mine, to extend the trade deadline on coming up with a deal with China. That probably taking a little bit of pressure off the markets today as well.
And AutoCanada selling off U.S. car dealerships.
Yeah, that's right. They're effectively going to be exiting the U.S. market. They got back into the U.S. market by way of acquisition in 2018, and they are basically unwinding that particular acquisition plus a few others along the way in what the executive chairman of AutoCanada is saying was just an acquisition that had gone wrong. It's a little under an $83 million transaction. Company saying part of the use of proceeds will be to pay down debt, and the other part will be to reinvest in the Canadian market and grow and expand their presence here. That stock was effectively flat on the day.
All right, Dave, thanks so much.
Bye, Camilla.
Canada's premiers say they're focused on eliminating internal trade barriers as U.S. trade tensions show no signs of slowing. The Council of the Federation had its second of 3 days of meetings in Huntsville, Ontario today. PM Mark Carney briefed the leaders on a looming August 1st deadline in trade talks with the U.S. and said his objective is to get the best possible deal for Canadians. Earlier in the day, Saskatchewan joined a memorandum of understanding between Alberta and Ontario, calling for the construction of new east-west rail and pipelines.
It was very good. I think all the premiers are looking for ways that we can support each other. You're seeing lots of MOUs being drafted and written up. We've got a few things we still need to work through, but I think we're all moving in the right direction. I'm pretty optimistic.
The Canada-U.S. trade minister will be in Washington this week. 35% tariffs on a wide variety of Canadian goods are set to take hold next month. Pierre Poilievre is calling for a law to block long ballot protests. The Conservative leader says the long list of names flooding the ballot in his upcoming federal by-election is an abuse of democracy. The longest ballot committee says it's their protest against the first-past-the-post system. So far, over 150 candidates are registered to run against Poilievre in the Battle River Crowfoot riding. The by-election is August 18th. Federal Conservatives want the legislative changes to happen when Parliament returns in September. Well, rain is taking its toll in Calgary. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Camilla. The rainfall warning is now over for Calgary, but it certainly created plenty of problems earlier today. Satina Trail was closed all morning because of flooding, and a pothole covered in water damaged multiple cars on Glenmore. The rain is even creating some challenges for a local rafting company. We'll explain why ahead at 6. Also ahead, bear warnings are in effect for multiple areas in Kananaskis country right now. Coming up, why sightings and bear encounters are on the rise. Cam.
Tara, thank you so much. A report into a near miss at the Calgary airport recommends more training and oversight. In October 2023, 2 aircraft tugs entered an active runway while a Jazz plane was taking off. The aircraft flew over the vehicles but only had 350 feet of clearance. Canada's Transportation Safety Board says a lack of recurrent training and oversight was an underlying factor. After the incident, NAV Canada clarified the language controllers should use when takeoffs need to be aborted. Well, a soggy day, hopefully producing some sunshine in the next little while. Right now, though, 10 degrees, mostly cloudy. Danielle has those sunny details next. Sunshine on the way?
Yes. Let's focus on that. We need the bright stuff, too. Good to have,
good for
some
growing.
Rain. Yeah, it's good in some cases, but a little too much in some cases. 10 degrees, our sad little high today, and the current temperature, 23 is what's normal. And let me show you something. Oh, look at that high tomorrow, 22, 23 degrees, right where we should be. A lot warmer than today. A good chunk of sunshine, small chance of some showers later in the day as it clouds over closer to those supper hours. Cam?
Thanks, Danielle. Well, let's hope the weather holds up for the Ballet in the Badlands this Friday. Alberta Ballet performers are preparing for a one-night-only showcase of the high-spirited romance in Don Quixote Act 3. And the reason they need Mother Nature to play nice is because the performance is taking place outdoors at the breathtaking Badlands Amphitheatre in Drumheller.
We normally don't perform outdoors. We perform in very controlled settings. So this is definitely a factor that we are not used to, but something that I think excites us a lot.
The amphitheater holds seating for 2,500. Tickets for Ballet in the Badlands are available online or day of at the amphitheater's gate. Now, what an incredible experience that would be to see. Well, thank you for joining us. Now, here's the early edition of the CTV National News.